my name's Chris Allen, and this is the Chris Allen MMA Show. Today, I'm being joined by one of the local boys here. You know, I've spoken to him for a while. I've actually tried to find him a few fights as well. But here we have him now, Mr. Jon Ferguson. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, Chris. Yeah, good to speak to you, buddy. And yeah, everything in the world has stopped me getting back in there, innit?
Yeah, everything. I know, like we'll go into it more, but you know, you've taken your time out, which we'll go into, you know, and ready to jump back in there, which unfortunately not a lot you can do. Bellator's cancelling, UFC's cancelling, so what can we expect with the smaller shows as well?
Yeah, it's going to happen on a kind of global scale for all the regional shows. Bless them. It's not going to be easy.
So how have you found that then, like like mentality sort of wise? So you took time out, and now you're making your comeback now, sort of thing. You know, we were what 6-7 weeks away from the event, sort of thing. So had you started your training camp already for it?
Yeah, I was already in because only because you and I, when we were talking, we had a couple of potential bouts that were pondering. So there was potential short fights coming earlier. So I already was in kind of fight mode mentality with training. I was kind of getting my, you know, me and my coach spoke about just adding the intensity up a little bit each week to build up to it. My training as well. I started to clean up my diet a little. You know, those little things that you start to do before you get really into it. And yeah, and it's rough when it gets taken away from you because obviously we're a bit housebound and stuff like that. So I can't really get the rigorous training that I want, even if it's just a simple hour of jiu-jitsu. I couldn't even do anything random, or an hour of wrestling. I could do stuff at home, which I do, but it's just knocks the momentum off. It just sucks, to be honest with you, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know, because I think when we were looking for fights, the amount of fights like, yeah, let's go for it, then last minute pullouts and all that sort of stuff, it's almost like they're trying to tell you not to get back in there, John.
Yeah, it is. It's like a sign saying, don't do it, John. It's not just eat pizza, eat cake, and be happy.
Well, I think that's what everyone's doing at the moment. How's the diet going in this lockdown situation?
I made a chili in the slow cooker, you see, the other day. So I've been thinking ahead of the game, slow cooker stuff, chili, and then I add stuff to it, obviously, when I have it. I accidentally fell into a box of celebrations. But other than that, I'm not doing too bad. It's tempting to eat rubbish all the time, but trying to eat like normal, trying to like act like. But it's just hard when you sit at home. I'm working from home, so it's easy for me to get up and just go and get some rubbish if I wanted to. So I'm trying to reduce how much I have in of treats to help stop me wanting to do it, really, and it'll put me off. Then I go, oh, I fancy a snack. I'll be all right. It's only carrots in the house, so it helps me stop eating the rubbish.
No, I know the feeling. If you just fill the fridge with decent food, if you can find any decent food, by the way, on the shelves at the moment, you know what I mean, then, you know, you're all good. So I see you drinking, what's that, lemon water there? So he's not drinking fizzy drinks like me. And keeping healthy.
Well, a hot/warm water with lemon in, just because it's good for the throat and bacteria and stuff like that. So it's good. It's good cleaner.
Yeah, you got to keep yourself healthy at the moment, mate, because God knows, God forbid that any of us do catch this horrible virus that's going around. But it's the last thing you need right now. Like, are you at home with any family or anything? Or was it just yourself?
It's myself and my son, but he's between me and his mum, so he's here and there. So he's here for a few days. He's at hers for a few days. So we're splitting it up because obviously she's got work, I've got work. So we're splitting it between us. I'm doing a few days work, then she does a few days work. So we're trying to balance it just so we can give him a bit of schooling while also having a fun time, but also get our jobs done as well. So it's just juggling act.
That's it. So what you've been learning then? You've been noticing that these kids are learning stuff that we don't even have a bloody clue about at our age.
Oh, it's shocking. They do like poems and stuff, but they've got these words, like these words for them. Like I know, like a limerick, and there's different types of poems, but he's coming out with these ones, and I'm like, what's that? I'm sitting there on Google looking at it, going, don't know what it is, mate. I don't know. Can't help you. You're above me, and he's only in primary school, so he's already ahead of me.
How did we do it before Google, mate? Like, I swear I used to try and find an encyclopedia if anyone's that old.
I know, encyclopedias. I used to have a memory. I used to remember telephone numbers. I remembered people's names. I remembered information. Now I just go, I don't need to. I used to remember albums, song words to all those albums. Now I'm like, fuck it. I'll just do YouTube, Oasis, Wonderwall lyrics. That'll do. Yeah, right, let's go. Just lazy.
Gone are the days of trying to rewind to your tape player, mate, trying to get it back to the beginning of the track. You know, you couldn't just skip a track, you know what I mean? It was fast forward to the next one, wasn't it?
Long wave radio, Atlantic 252. top 40 tape cassette player at the ready. Oh, I used to love that. Top 40.
Do you remember getting the books? I don't know if back in like the dance and the rave sort of days, you used to get a massive like book and it'd open up with like 10 tapes in each one or something like that. The old rave days.
Yeah, we used to have. I used to have that and tape cassettes and CDs and all that. Yeah, it was little ways to keep more together. But yeah, that takes me back.
I know, mate. I remember when I was excited about a portable CD player, which every time you jogged it, it didn't actually damage the music, you know, because you used to just tap your CD player and it would jump all over the place.
Yeah, I remember CD players like that. Yeah, I used to have a massive unit where it had like a vinyl on top, CD player, tape cassette, the whole shebang. They were just massive units back then, and obviously now it's all MP4, MP3s, etc. So, but yeah, that was like the state of the art.
God, we're showing our age now, John. To be fair to you.
I know. I'm happy though. I love it. It was a good days. They were the good days then.
That's it, mate. It is. So, because obviously, what I want people to know about yourself is if people haven't heard of yourself before, and I know they would have listened to your podcast, but we'll come into that in a bit, sort of thing. Where did it all sort of begin for you, the MMA sort of fighting style? Because you didn't compete amateur, you went straight into pro. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
No, I did amateur.
Sorry.
Yeah, I did amateur. It actually all came about from a night. I was at my mate's house. We're having a house party, all of us, and it was when the UFC was few and far between in events. We're going back pre-2010, and my mates were talking about it, and it came on, and they said, "Oh, I wouldn't do that." I said, why not? I'd do that. And they went, "No, you wouldn't." I said, "Yeah, I would." And so they went, "No, you wouldn't." I went, "Right, I bet I will."
I'm going to do it.
I just went, "I'll do it." And then I looked everywhere online to somehow try and find an MMA gym on where I am on the island. And because it's so small, there was probably no chance there would have been. But weirdly enough, there was a gym. Really hard to get hold of him. The guy ran my coach now, but at the time I was like trying to find him. He isn't the best at social media stuff, putting his information out there. So found it, got there, and then just kind of went, right, let's do it. And then 9 months later, made my amateur debut, and that was it. Really, just kind of fell into it from there. It was more just to prove a point, and then obviously fell in love with it.
No, exactly, and it shows. You know, you definitely took on some good people in your career. Let's put it that way. You know, early on in your career, like you fought Perry Goodwin was your last fight. Obviously, despite the result, obviously fantastic fighter. And I think the biggest name to date has to be Paul Craig from the UFC. You managed to step in there against him in his early days, and you took him down, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. I get no easy. For some reason, I never got easy fights given to me. It always gave me guys. But then again, I think it's because of where I'm from. With the MMA sport, the fight game, it's all about sometimes tickets, how they sell tickets, and it's all a bit of trying to help guys out in their career. Like the Perry fight, I probably shouldn't have even stepped in there because I was cutting to 170 and it was the worst thing ever in my life.
170?
Yeah, my last two fights I tried to do. Someone said to me, "I reckon you could do 170 and I reckon you'd be great at that weight class." And I went, "I don't know." I said, "I don't know if I can get down there." I did 170 twice and it was just horrendous both times. I had nothing in the tank. I didn't really have any strength, but if I was the day after where I put the weight back on, I'd probably crush him like an empty can. I had far more strength in me, but on the day even, I just wasn't recovered enough. I didn't have enough in me to really do anything. It was awful. I felt I felt really weird. I felt weak. I felt like I didn't have anything. But at 85 and 205, I feel superb. You know, like either weight class I feel fine in, but 170 is too much. So, yeah, I just had tough guys. Every guy I've ever competed against either went to UFC, Bellator, Cage Warriors, all that stuff. And, you know, I don't mind. I'll take them all. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who it is to me. It's just a name on a piece of paper. I'm not asked what their background is. Just bring them in front of me and let's go.
That's definitely the right attitude to have. You know, you want to fight the best to start off with because then you know what to train better for. So explain to everyone, your last fight was now back in 2015. A lot of people will be shocked to know that sort of thing. So obviously 5 years on, ready to jump back in there. What's changed? What changed your mind to get back in there? Let's start off with, why did you take the break initially?
I had to take the break because of the 170 cut. I did it I cut down to 170 in 6 weeks, and then 4 weeks later I did it again, and my body rejected rejected what I did to it. Really, it bubbled up, and my weight went up to. Oh, I think I went up to like 220,
Oh,
and I couldn't shift it. Couldn't shift it no matter what I did. I could eat a salad, I could run, I could get a rower, I could do a bike, I could do anything cardio. My body just kind of went into it like a safety defense mode or something. I think it's like maybe inapt in its body to kind of survival mode, maybe because I could deplete my body so quickly, such a huge amount. Because I cut, like I say, I went from 210 down to 170 for the first time, and then I think I went from 200 down to 170 in a 4-week gap. So it was just big cuts. And so I had to take like 6-7 months off for that reason to kind of get my body weight to normal again. Because I thought, I don't know if I could, I thought I'll do 170. I think I could do 185 then in my head. And I just thought if I can get down to 210, I'll be all right. But then all of a sudden, one day, I was not even doing anything excessive. I wasn't doing anything crazy. And my back just went. It just seized up. It's called the SI joint, which is
it was all that weight you put on.
It was trying to hold up all that weight. My SI joint. It went on me, and I basically was at home for a week off work on the floor, sleeping on my living room floor. Just couldn't move an inch.
Jesus.
Just lay there. It was pretty rough. And then I got treatment. Had to take all that time off to recuperate. It literally took me a year off training, and then a year after that was the kind of rehab stuff where I was doing super light, gentle stuff to get movement in, and then it was getting a year after that was training, and it kept coming back every now and then. I'd get little aches and pains. It was still there, and then eventually it just it stopped. Basically, the pain stopped, and I got back in the trainer. Thought, I can maybe start going here, and I had to obviously get my weight down. That was the first thing, get myself in good shape. So get myself a good baseline to build up from. And eventually, we've been trying for a while to get matched up, and just sod's law luck. I've just not been able to get the match up. So that's what took me so long, was one injury that I almost had to potentially retire because of it, but the itch was there. I thought, I feel good, feel healthy. Why not? Let's just get back in there.
So this is definitely something you still want to pursue then. You're still very, what's the word I'm looking for? Dedicated to fighting in MMA still as well.
Yeah, well, I love learning anyway, so I love the training side of it. I love the learning side, the jiu-jitsu, adding bits to that, whether it be wrestling and so I went to BKK, trained down there, Jack Mason's place down there. Went to Team Kaboom as well, Mike Grundy, and Darren Till and stuff like that. So I did go there and trained over them places with the guys, just because of learning, just for knowledge really, and wanting to get more information on the sport and just see how it was there with those guys. And it was great because they're a far higher level than over here where I'm based on, because I'm there. There's some younger kids who are really good. One of the lads, but they're 145ers. So the issue I've got is I can't ever train with them. I train with them, we spar together, but I can't spar with them. I have to pull back tenfold, because if I let 200 plus pounds on a 145er, it's going to really hurt them. But they'll go heavy on me. They've got no problems. They've got no issues with cracking me hard, but I can't ever go up. So it's a bit of a frustration, but we've got a couple of guys who do judo, who are high level judokas over here, trials for the Olympics and stuff. So they're good to grapple with, and just they're like 100 kilos. So it's good to get a feel with them guys, and high level, Commonwealth Games level boxers. So there is individual sports where guys are at a good level, so we can call on them to help. But when it comes to MMA, I want to call myself the guinea pig on the pro scene for MMA. I learn all the mistakes and errors, just pass it on to people over here who want to try it out.
But how beneficial then and fortunate do you find that you managed to fall into these gyms and train with these such high level athletes as well? Like, it must be an absolute godsend, because you've got fighters who've been doing it for years who can't get into these gyms,
Just look, I'm just lucky, so to speak, because of the people I know in the sport and the community and the people I've talked to and built relationships with. I've had gyms say come anytime to train around the UK, a lot of the top level gyms. So it's really nice to have that, and because I think they understand that martial arts is sport and it's about development, and they see that I've got a thirst for it, and they're just, I'm just kind of, I want to say lucky really to have the guys there that are open to that and happy to have me come along and train there.
And yeah, exactly. That's amazing. And how have you felt, coming back into training camp after all this time? Do you feel like you never left it behind, even though it was a little while ago now? Does it feel like just riding a bike again?
Yeah, a really heavy bike that's really with really strong wind in my face as well. Blown out. I think what it was, I said to my coach one time, I said, let's just do 5-minute rounds on the pads and we'll go high intensity. I said, we'll do high numbers. I said, and we'll throw takedowns in. So he gives a command for me to do a takedown at random times and sprawls. And I said, we'll just do that and we'll see how I feel at the end of it and see what my output is. And we'll see where I am and see if I've still got it in me as well. Because I thought, well, if I can push myself to it, I'll have that itch for it first. And don't get me wrong, I think the first 5 minutes I went, this is the longest 5 minutes I've ever done in my life.
Yeah,
and every 5-minute round after that got even longer. And I went, I swear you've done this 6-minute rounds. And and I did it. And I was, don't get me wrong, I was blowing out my arse every round. But I got that kind of light bulb to go, yeah, we're good. And that's all I did.
You can still bang out, if you need to, you can still bang out 3-5-minute rounds quite comfortably.
Exactly. So I did 5-5, and I thought, well, I only need to do 3-3. So 5-5 was just me just being a bit sick in my head that I do. I go, I always like to go a little bit sick with some stuff. So I'm going to do 5-5s. Let's just go. Let's just go hard and let's go heavy.
It's what I love. It's what I've seen in gyms before, which I know it's very common, but I think it's absolutely nuts. So you do 5-5-minute rounds, but you get a fresh training partner every round.
Yeah. Shark Tank, it's rough. Oh, yeah.
Is that what it's called, is it? Yeah.
Shark Tank, yeah. So we do all different scenarios where you'll do, if you get a guy who's a good wrestler, you'll start on the ground with someone in your guard or side control, and then you've got to get up or sweep them. You cannot get a new opponent until you've moved that person where you've swept them or you've got back to your feet, and then straight to the next one. There's all sorts where they'll just do it where they get people on your back and then you get a fresh guy on your back and then just keep going. It's horrible. Shark Tank's horrible, and sparring as well. It's gnarly.
I know, I'm not going to lie. I'm the one usually watching and filming and chatting to you guys afterwards. I'm not the one doing it. I think the nastiest thing I remember ever doing was the bleep test at school, which I think they've banned in some schools now, actually, because it's seen as child abuse.
Oh, what? That's insane. I love it. I remember training with the Royal Marines and we were doing the bleep test, and I think we got to level 3 and they were just like, right, if you want to quit now, you can, and you can be a police officer and you can fuck off, basically, he said. And I was like going, it's fair enough. And it was like, you're literally walking. He said, that's the level Leon I have to do. And you thought, and I think in the Marines, we had to get to level, I think we got to level 13 or 14 or something like that. Yeah. But
you trained with the Marines, man, did you? I didn't know that.
I trained with the Royal Marines and the Parachute Regiment, yeah.
When did you do that?
Years ago now. Bloody hell, what are we in now? 20? Yeah, many years ago, let's say. I can't remember the exact dates off the top of my head. I'd have to get a calendar out. I'm terrible with dates.
Fair play to go, though. You're tough. I know it's just a TV show, but have you been watching that Who Dares Wins, that SAS sort of training show thing?
Oh, I've got to drop a bombshell here. I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV. I don't have one.
There's nothing wrong with that, mate. Save on TV license.
Well, that's the thing. I just do my media. I do the media stuff. I train, and I've got a laptop if I need XYZ, but generally I don't have a TV because I just don't have the need for it.
What do you hook your PlayStation up to?
Don't even have one. I know.
I'm joking, man.
I just, yeah.
Why not, mate? I said, but do you manage to keep up with all the latest UFC action and MMA World stuff, things like that?
Yeah, phone's got, my mobile phone. I use a lot of it for the social media side of things. And the laptop, I've got the internet and stuff, so I can get hold of what I need to and watch or read what I need to as well. So I'm all good with that stuff.
Yeah, that's it, mate. It's good though, It means you don't just sit there vegging in front of a TV. Like a lot of people, we sitting there thinking, if this guy's at home during lockdown, he hasn't even got a telly to look at. But it just shows you there are things to do to entertain yourselves. You don't have to sit there and watch EastEnders over and over again.
Yeah, tons of stuff. You meditate and all. With meditation's kind of good thing to be doing right now as well. So it's good for the mind, calms the mind, and just flexibility as well. So doing like home yoga, let's say, it's a great one just to get your flexibility and dexterity up because you're not out and about as much as you would be. So I'm taking the opportunity to open up my hamstrings and get them open and a bit more loose.
Well, I hope people listening to this are getting inspired by what you're saying, you know, because there's a lot of fighters. I'm not going to mention their names because they're bigger and harder than me, but they're sitting around and stuffing their faces, thinking how they're going to get back down to weight. I keep trying to tell them your fights have been postponed. Yeah, they haven't been cancelled.
Yeah, I know. I was wary about it as well. I thought I want to eat, and the opportunity's there, and I can just sit there and be a fat boy. And then I thought the issue I've got is you've got to get back to where you were, and then when you got back to where you were, you've got to get to where you need to be. So it's not just one bit. You've got to do. You've got 2 steps. I just want 1 step ideally. So I'm doing my best to keep my. I haven't got a gym equipment, so to speak, in the house. That's one of the things I'm a bit stuck with. So I've got like an ab roller, the little wheel and the handles. I've got that for the abs, but what I do is I've got like shadow boxing and, you know, bits and bobs. But I've got a deck of cards. I don't know if you've ever seen the deck of card one. You do?
No.
It's a great one. So you just turn the card over. Black or red, obviously, are the 2 colors. So if you're on the blacks, you can have press ups, and reds are squats. Go through the whole deck, and whatever number comes up, you just do the repetition number of whatever color it is. So press ups and squats, and you just go through to the whole deck.
Love it, mate. I want to see that. Yeah, I want to see videos coming in. I want to see 52 cards. I want to see how long it takes to get through the whole deck. So what's a king then? An ace? Ace is high, I'm guessing. Yeah,
10.
not low.
Yeah, just 10. Anything for 10 upwards, they're all 10s. So Jack, 10, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace, they're all 10s.
That's a great idea, to be fair. It's fantastic. Even if you've got someone with you, you can get someone just pick you random cards all the time, you know, and things like that. It'd be quite interesting. What's the Joker do? Does the Joker just fucking go for it?
Oh, you just leave them out. No, you leave them out. They don't go in. No, the less is more.
Fair enough, mate. One thing I actually want to ask you lot is, in the UK, our bread and butter sadly isn't wrestling, you know, not the fake shit, the real stuff. And that's something I've seen you're quite dominant at in your game, you know, going back. So before MMA and everything began, were you doing any disciplines at all before that, like boxing or wrestling, anything like that?
I did karate years ago. Okay. I did karate, when I was like under 10, and then it was rugby. Rugby's where I got my takedowns from. Just played rugby for years and years, and had a bit of a knack for it, and played around in the kind of UK leagues and stuff like that for my team over here. We compete across in the UK and stuff. So just years of playing rugby, and just because with rugby we're tackling, it's all about engaging and attacking the legs. So that kind of change in level was just never an issue for me. I just got it straight away. So I'm like, and I could just I can transition smoothly into it. And I've got the projection to push through as well to get the takedown in. So it was weird. I just got it quick. I got it really quickly, and that was it then. From then on, I was just like, it was never an issue to take down. So I'm kind of lucky in that way. I don't know why, but a lot of guys have a difficulty changing levels, or they're not very good at measuring distance. So you see a lot of guys shoot and they're just too far out. And then when you shoot for the takedown, you want the impact with the body. You want to impact them with the body. You don't want to be reaching with your fingers, because your fingers are weak as piss. You know, a pair of legs are just going to push through them. So you really need to get a close impact. So a lot of guys have got really poor judgment of the range, but I weirdly kind of got away with it, and it just clicked straight away. I was good to gauge where the distance was and get in and get them down.
Where did you play? What position did you play in rugby?
Well, not now because I'm a little bit heavier, but I used to play fullback.
Oh, really? So I thought you'd have been a second row man, you know?
Well, being a fullback was handy because I was a lot lighter back then. I was always the last line of defense, so it forced me to be good at tackling. And I went to the fullback and the winger. They were my 2 kind of go-to positions where I'd play, because I was fast. Like, I was just really quick. So that's why they stuck me there. They just give me the ball and let me run, and off I'd go. But then these days, in these days, if I play I do play every now and then, kind of semi-retired. I play flanker or inside center, but I like playing flanker because I just want to absolutely level the number 8 when he peels off the scrum. It's the only reason I play flanker.
That's nothing better than that feeling than catching that number 8. I used to play second row myself, so I didn't experience it, but I used to love catching those wingers. They used to run past me, laughing at me. When I caught them, they were sitting down for a while, put it that way.
That's why I hate about second row, because you're stuck in the scrum. That's it. They tried to say to me, they go, "Oh, get in the scrum." I'm like, no. I'm on the flank, 8 or inside center, so I can smash them. Other than that, I'm not interested.
Nah, well, back then I was a lot heavier. I was about 17.5 stone back then. I'm about 14, 15 now. So I lost a load of weight, went from the A team to the B team, and then I went to beer and alcohol and women. That's how it works. So that's the unfortunate route I took. So that's why I'm the one behind the microphone right now, and not the one fighting in the cage. And also, I've got some injuries from rugby, man. I've got bulging discs in my back, sciatica, the lot. I thought that stuff would toughen me up, but come on, mate. That's why if you see me sitting here moving like this all the time, it's because my sciatica's playing up, and I've got to keep moving.
Yeah, fractured my neck, hand, foot, ligaments in my both ankles and a knee. What else have I done with rugby? Yeah, I've done tons of stuff over the years with rugby. Yeah, just such is life.
I know, mate. It's when I speak to a lot of guys in America as well. And they talk about the NFL, and I'm like, they think we're brutal. And I said, I watch some of the NFL stuff, and there's high tackles, off the ball tackles, everything, and they think we're nuts in the UK for doing what we do. They think, what is no pads, nothing like that.
Exactly, no pads or helmets. Exactly, full impact. Off you go, straight into it. And I'm like, it's actually safer. It's safer than the NFL because we know to tackle correctly because we haven't got that padding, but they don't take knowledge of it.
Well, they run head first into each other, mate. Helmets first, man. That's just going to kill you eventually.
Well, they can't now. That's one of the regulations. Really? Yeah, last season it came. Was it last season or the season before? They stopped that. They stopped the head first, so you have to make the effort to make the tackle and not go for head first. You get penalised as regulations came in about that because obviously CTE and all that came around.
Yeah,
so,
mate. Yeah,
but Diego Sanchez said it's not real, so.
Yeah, we'll go to that one. Yeah, but I know exactly what you mean, mate. And those guys are off their heads. But no, it's good that they've stopped that as well because that's bad, And look, even in the UK, they're starting to stop kids from headering footballs in training now. Going for headers in football. Because it's knocking a lot of brain cells out. So do you know what? To all you lot who said MMA was brutal, okay? Well, football seems to be giving people brain damage more. So does rugby. So does NFL. So this is only going to benefit the MMA world, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll get more of them footballers. Yay.
Yeah, that's right. You get more Geordie Shore stars on, mate.
Yay.
Do you know what? I'm not going to say it, but I've met Aaron Chalmers from Bellator at Bellator. And do you know what? One of probably the nicest people you ever meet, mate. And he was telling me how he was offered like a 6-figure contract from Geordie Shore to go back, but he was still happy to fight in Bellator. And shame about his last performance. Obviously, wasn't the best. Do you know what I mean? But hey, at the end of the day, fair play to the geezer. But they are getting handpicked a little bit, though. Do you know what I mean?
A little.
I've got to be careful what I say.
I'll say it. Again, they're handpicking them because what they need is money. So they're just being smart by handpicking him so people come watch it and keep attention on him. But when he did that guillotine choke to that lad, that was absolutely diabolical. The guy didn't even try to defend it. It was embarrassing.
I think we should get him versus CM Punk would be interesting, wouldn't it? I wonder what ever happened to CM Punk anyway.
Commentary. He's doing commentary for CFFS, I think it is. One of the promotions that does live. It's on UK UFC Fight Pass. He does commentary on there. And probably he's that wealthy, he can live off what he's got in his account as well.
I was just thinking that guy just go back to do an amateur career and start again if he's really that interested in it. But as we saw against his fight when he did come in, I think it was his second one. It was just embarrassing to watch, wasn't it? It was horrible to watch. At the end of the day, anyone that gets in the cage has my vote. You know what I mean? Like fair play to you at the end of the day. But you've got to draw the line somewhere, haven't you? We don't just getting comical like WWE style, So that is the problem, mate. Anyway, what I was going to say to you is as well is in this time off you've had, obviously you've started up your own podcast channel as well, MMA Huddle. So what made you decide, obviously I know why I decided to do it all, but what made you decide to do a podcast channel, mate?
I had a podcast before this. I had a podcast with a friend of mine. That came up, and so that's where it kind of all originated from. We had the podcast, and all it was, me and my friend would speak about MMA for hours. We'd be on the phone for like 3 or 4 hours, just chatting away. And I think one day I said to him, how about we do like a podcast? I said, we'll just do audio podcast and we'll stick it on SoundCloud. I think I found SoundCloud it was at the time. And I thought, we'll just stick it on there and see what happens. And that's all it was. We just did it just to put it on there. There was no rhyme or reason. It was just, we'll stick it on, whatever. We didn't even care if it was one listener or whatever. I said, but there's no point in talking about the sport as much as we do to not just do something with it. I thought, well, we'll just see what happens. And I think by our 5th episode, we had Martin Delaney and Stevie Ray's agent at the time contact us and said, "Oh, I've got a couple of my guys fighting on Cage Warriors. Do you want to interview them?" And I was like,
Nice.
I don't know what we're doing. And my mate went, "I don't know what I'm doing." I went, let's just wing it. So we literally wung it. Still speak to Stevie Ray to this day and all that, and it's just kind of weird following his career. And that was it. Just kind of went from there. Just kind of all of a sudden it went from a couple of people here, a couple of interviews here, and it just grew. Where I've interviewed probably best part of, I'd estimate now 300 to 400 people even. But and then obviously MMA Huddle came about because my friend who I did a podcast previously, we've had to stop doing the podcast for health reasons. He had some health stuff pop up, so he wasn't able to really put the time in because his head was elsewhere. And so my friend Will, who I do a podcast with, MMA Huddle, me and him have been talking through the MMA community for years. He's got his own podcast, but he thought his own prediction thing that he does. He said he's always wanting to do it with someone else. He's always wanting to do something. So we came along together, joined forces, and we'll just do it together. And it's kind of grew a lot quicker than we thought it would. And do the interviews still pump out the interviews here and there, and just came like that. Really, just kind of stuck at it. I just thought I don't want to stop doing it because I actually quite enjoy it.
Yeah, me too, mate. People think we sit here. Like someone asked someone to come on this show myself recently, and they said, "Okay, yeah, no, I'd love to, yeah, but how much do you charge?" I mean, what do you mean, how much do I charge? I'm just happy to do it, mate. Don't let anyone ever charge you to do a podcast, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're doing it because we enjoy it and we want to give you exposure. And people look at you like you're nuts. Like, what do you mean you don't want to make money? It's like it ain't all about the money, mate. There are hobbies in life, there are passions in life. And that's why I love doing it. And if one day someone go, "Oh, we've seen your podcast, we want you to come work for us like a big TV program," then fantastic. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So what? You know what I mean? And I think that's the mentality and attitude we should all be having. And it seems like you had a similar one.
Yeah, I ended up doing TV work because of the podcast, just on social media. I ended up doing it on there's Talk Sport. Talk Sport was the TV show on there. And I'd come on. It was on like a Saturday, like 11 till 12 or something it was. And I would Skype with them. The host that I spoke to, we ended up direct messaging, chatting away about it. He ended up getting me on. I'd be like a little analyst, so to speak. I'd do like a little thing for the upcoming UFC cards whenever UFC cards are on. And, it was just fun. I enjoyed it. And it does stuff like that pops up from this. It's just random good times happen and, just good people you meet along the road. And, I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, mate, I can definitely say I've met some of the nicest people through this industry, from fighters to other podcasters. Like, we both know John McRoy, of course, from Martial Arts Chat podcast. It was him who found me and says, "Do you want to come on a podcast with me?" And then all of a sudden I thought, well, I want to do this as well. And he was nice enough to let me work with him on his show. And here we are now. I'm doing my own one, and he was very supportive of it. So I can only say thank you to people like that. And I think we've been on a couple of roundtables, you and me, haven't we, at the same time, I think?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
See what I mean? So everyone check out his as well, Martial Arts Chat podcast. Make sure you check out MMA Huddle as well, Mr. Jon Ferguson here. And so, John, what you got planned for the rest of the day, mate? You finished your work now? You had a quick chat. What's next?
I will probably have dinner. I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm Hank Marvin, so I'll have some scoff and I'll do a little workout as well. That's probably the little plan. Just like do a little bit of cardio, get the heart rate up, bit of deck of cards, and that'll be what else? Oh no, I'll probably do some kind of media stuff, looking at media bits and bobs to do. But yeah, that's probably me, mate. That's me. That's my plan for the week, probably.
That's it, mate. Why not? Keep him busy. Fair play to you. All that a telly as well, everyone. By the way, just make sure you note that. Okay, you don't have to sit in front of a TV and veg. All right, and obviously, I know Shogun's. You're going to fight on Shogun MMA, May the 2nd. I think I remember it was, and I know that's only been postponed for now, but it is coming back. So is that a show that you still want to be competing on when everything's come back around against the same opponent?
I don't mind who it is, really. If he's obviously can't make it, put someone else in. It doesn't matter, really. Do you know what I mean? It's not. I don't mind who it is. I kept hassling you about that title fight. Do you know what I mean? So I don't mind who it is. I don't care what their name is. Just stick me in. I'll have a go.
One fight I would like to see, actually, is I know you were supposed to fight him in the past. It got cancelled, sadly. Was Neil Laird? From Scotland.
Neil, yeah. I know Neil. I actually know him on social media as well. I physically couldn't make that one, but yeah, I would If Neil wants to, I'll be happy to anytime, even if it's Shogun, if the other lad can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's so many good opportunities out for you. I know you're happy to fight at 93, you're happy to fight at 84. We won't make you go any lighter, don't worry, because we'll be back to that shit again.
Couldn't do it.
No, man, but no, it looks like you found your feet well. You're ready to get back in there. You've got the right mentality. You've got the right training. You're confident. You know you can hang in there for the rounds needed. And, mate, honestly, I really can't wait to see your next fight. After being out for so long, it's going to be great to see what you've improved on. You know, and I'm sure you picked up a lot of training tips and ideas from fighters, just podcasting people and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, wrestling with Mike Grundy was one of the best ones that I got. I got a lot from him. I learned that there are men that are made of cement. I've never grappled with someone like that in my life. I've never known someone that freakishly strong. I was actually chatting to Paul Craig at UFC Liverpool. Me and him were chatting away together. Because obviously I still got on with Paul really well, and we were just joking because I mentioned about training with Mike, and he laughed and said, "I've trained with Mike," and before I even said it, he goes, "He's got the nastiest north and south choke," and I went, "He got me with it as well," and we were just about how he's so good at setting it up, but also how freakishly strong he was for a guy in that weight class. Like he's going to be an absolute nightmare for guys in that division.
He's going to be another one who can put an Ezekiel choke from the bottom. You know what I mean? It'd be another one of them.
Crazy strength, yes.
All right, John. But again, mate, thank you very much for your time, mate. I really appreciate chatting to you, and it's been great working with you, finding you fights and stuff like that. We thought we got there. We nearly got there, but it's been postponed for now. But we will. But it will happen, mate.
I'm all good.
Someone get that man a Kleenex. And before I let you go, mate, I know we spoke about it. Just give a shout out to your podcast channel and where people can follow you and stuff like that, mate.
Yeah, YouTube, MMA Huddle. Just jump on there and give it a subscribe. And yeah, don't worry about me on social media. Just do MMA Huddle. I kind of push that more than anything else.
That's it, everyone. Look out for that, and look out for John. He's on the way back. He's had his fights against UFC fighters such as Paul Craig, people like that. He's trained. He's got better. And John, personally, mate, I love representing you, mate, and I can't wait to see you compete later. Let's hope it is later on in the year and not next year. But I'm sure you'll keep fit. I'm sure you'll have plenty of decks of cards going around everywhere. You know what I mean? I'll never forget that, by the way. That's one I'm going to remember. I'm going to pass it on.
Try it out. It's good. It's a great one.
And again, anyway, John, thank you very much, mate. Have a great rest of the day, and I know we'll be in touch soon.
Will do, Chris. Have a good one, mate. Cheers for your time, bud.
Cheers, mate. Thank you for coming on a podcast opposed to hosting one.
Yeah, something new.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Speak to you soon.
See you, buddy.